Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. Let's dive into it. First, I want to say that bad writing strikes again, because last week I railed against what appeared to be AWS Transfer Family creating a new logging format. While this would indeed be horrible, further investigation reveals that this isn't what's happening. Suggestive headline of that post to the contrary. They're simply outputting structured data, which is a good feature. Carry on with your excellent work, just please describe it using better words. And of course, if you're looking to hire or be hired, the Last Week in AWS job board at jobs.lastweekinaws.com is probably where you should head. Go for it. Hit pause. I'll wait here for you to then come back and finish after you've checked that out. Now, what did AWS get up to? Amazon CloudWatch now supports dashboard variables. Whoa. To my understanding, the only way to do this sort of thing previously was to templatize your dashboards in CloudFormation or similar, which basically no one did. Amazon DynamoDB now simplifies and lowers the cost of handling failed conditional writes, and announcements like this are always bittersweet to me because I get to throw away a lot of bad code that I spent time writing to get around the exact thing that this feature fixes. Mount Point for Amazon S3 adds support for creating new files. The Use S3 as a read-only file system open source project loses the qualifier, and now I fear it needs a big scary, you probably don't want to use this banner more than ever. The pattern's actively dangerous if you don't understand the trade-offs that you're making. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store increases API throughput limit, and this is kind of amazing. I remember when Parameter Store first launched and I smacked face first into the original rate limit, which as I recall was something like 30 requests a second when I was spinning up a pile of ECS containers all at once at a client. With a new default limit of 10,000 transactions per second, I can still cause this behavior, but now I have to work really hard to do it.
Tired of wrestling with Apache Kafka's complexity and cost? Feel like you're stuck in a Kafka novel, but with more latency spikes and less existential dread by at least 10%? You're not alone. What if there was a way to 10x your streaming data performance without having to rob a bank? Enter Red Panda. It's not just another Kafka wannabe. Red Panda powers mission-critical workloads without making your AWS bill look like a phone number. And with full Kafka API compatibility, migration is smoother than a fresh jar of peanut butter. Imagine cutting as much as 50% off your AWS bills. With Red Panda, it's not a pipe dream, it's reality. Visit go.redpanda.com/duckbill today. Red Panda, because your data infrastructure shouldn't give you Kafkaesque nightmares.
Announcing DynamoDB local version 2.0, and that's a big change because I thought that this project was largely abandonware. It's great to see that not everyone at AWS eschews local development workflows. Disclosure, I am a small investor in LocalStack. Building generative AI into marketing strategies, a primer. I swear to you that I read this title and thought it was an internal strategy document from AWS marketing that somehow leaked into their blog feed. Talk about generative AI at all costs is certainly an approach. How to build an email service on SES. Perhaps you thought SES, which stands for Simple Email Service, was itself an email service. Perhaps you were a fool. Downgrade SQL Server Enterprise Edition using AWS Systems Manager document to reduce cost. I'm a big fan of using things inappropriately as databases, and I endorse this approach of using AWS Systems Manager document as your database instead. And finally, IT skills for you, from dentistry to IT. Work in IT or work in dentistry, either way, it's like pulling teeth. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. More to come.